Beautiful people, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. My name is Winifred and welcome to a new tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be learning how to draft this shawl collar ball dress for kids. Kindly stay tuned, watch till the end. So without too much talking, let's get to the honey of this video.
I love you. Hey beauty, welcome to my channel.
So to draft the pattern, I'm just creating the block with my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance, and that's what I'm doing. Then I measured out my body's measurement, that's the half length, plus 1 inch seam allowance, and that is what I'm marking out just to create the block so that we can know where we are working on. I used my bust measurement divided by 4 for the width of the block, and for the length of the block I mark out my half length plus half inch, and then plus 1 inch rather, sorry, and then I'm connecting that with a line. So once that is done, I went ahead to mark out my shoulder measurement of divided by 2 plus half inch, and then I also marked out my armhole depth. Then I connect it with a line, and then I marked out the middle of that point of that line, and then I'm just connecting that with a curve to form my armhole curve, and then I marked out my shoulder slope of half inch and my neck width of 2 inches. While I was doing that, I remembered that I was supposed to draft the back panel first. So now I'm going to mark out my 1 inch zip allowance at the back part that is meant to be at the back. So I'm measuring out my 1 inch zip allowance right now, and then I'm connecting that with a straight line. So I'm just going to label that point the zip allowance. Now that 1 inch that we took out from the side, I need to replace it back so that everything can align properly. So, and that is what I'm doing right now. I'm just replacing it back, and then I'm going to draw a straight line to connect that. So that will be our new block line. The first line is going to be discarded. Alright, I hope you understand. So from that zip allowance, that's where we are going to be taking our new measurement. So the first armhole, I cancelled it, is discarded. So we are taking our new shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus half inch, and then the length, and then I mark the midpoint and connect that with the curve to form my armhole curve, my new armhole curve. And then at that point I went down by half inch for my shoulder slope. I'm just cancelling the former line so you don't get confused, and that is the new line. Please watch what I'm doing closely so you don't get confused. And from that zip allowance point, I'm going to mark my neck width of 2 inches, and I'll connect that 2 inch mark to my half inch shoulder slope. So that is what I've just done. So let me cut it out now so that you can see it clearly and you can understand it very well. So I'm just cutting it out now. I'm cutting my armhole curve and my shoulder slope. So this is it now. This is our back block. This is our back basic block. So now the neck depth I'm working with is half inch. Remember, the neck width is 2 inches and the neck depth is going to be half inch, and then I'm just going to connect that and cut it out like that. And that is it. That's just how to draft the back bodies. So I'm just going to label it as the back basic pattern, the back pattern, and you're going to be cutting 2 of these. Going to be cutting 2 of these. So we are going to be using this back pattern to draft the front pattern. So I've placed my back pattern on a fresh pattern paper. I folded in my zip allowance, and I'm going to extend the side for the front by 6 inches and also the upper part by 6 inches. And then I'm going to place the, I'm going to just place the pattern in the middle like that, leaving out 6 inches on the side and 6 inches on the upper part. So now I'm just going to use my marker to trace my pattern like you can see me do. I'm tracing out my pattern right now so that I can, work with the pattern. Don't forget, I've already folded my zip allowance in for my back pattern. So now I'm done tracing it out. So the next thing I did was that I just connected the line to the edge of the paper. I connected the lines to the edge of the paper so I can see what I'm doing clearly, and then I'm going to cut it out so that I can, so the paper will not be confusing you, so you can see what we are doing clearly. So now once we are done doing that, the first thing we are going to do is at the neckline, we are going to measure out our front neck depth of 2 inches. Don't forget the neck width was 2 inches. Now the neck depth for the front is going to be 2 inches also. We don't actually need that, but I just want you to understand what we are doing properly so that you don't get confused. So now at the down part, I'm just going to measure out 2 inches outward like so, and then I'm going to connect that 2 inch mark to my neck width point. Alright, from the 2 inch mark to my neck width point, I'm going to connect that with a straight line. Once that is done, I'm going to measure out my back neckline minus the zip allowance. You have to measure out your back neckline minus the zip allowance, and then once you know what you have there, at the edge of the front neck width like that, you're going to extend a line. Just extend your line upward like that, and whatever you have on your back neckline, you mark it out on that line, which is what I'm doing right now. So I just marked out the back neck width, and then if you connect your line like this, it's going to be wrong. So you are meant to tilt your ruler a bit like so to form an angle 90 degree like that. So once that is done, you're going to determine the width of your shawl collar. I want a width of 4 inches because it's going to be on fold. So by the time it is on fold, it will be 2 inches. So now I'm marking out 4 inches for my shawl width. Alright, so I'm just going to use my pattern master to create a curve from that point to the 2 inch mark down at the down part of this pattern. Just going to create a perfect curve. You all know how a shawl collar is now. It's always curvy at the upper part, wide, and it's always slim at the down part. So that's what we're trying to create. So I used my pattern master for this, and it gave me a very perfect curve. You can also use a freehand if you know that your freehand can give you a perfect curve. So this is it. We are done with the pattern of the front, and we are going to cut this out also. Just have to follow the lines. It's not so tricky. Just follow the lines and you're done cutting. This is the front and that's the back pattern. So now to cut out the down part of the dress, I folded my fabric into two, and then I'm going to fold it into two again. So that means it's going to be folded into four, like a triangle, as you can see. And then once that is done, make sure your fabric is aligning properly. So once that is done, I'm going to mark out my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 5 inches. That is what I'm marking out now. My waist divided by 4. Oh, sorry, the waist of the child. The waist of the child divided by 4 plus 5 inches, because we want to create a pleat. We don't want it to be exact waistline, so I want it to be wider, so that I can create a pleat around the waistline. So now I'm just marking that out. So now the next thing is that I placed my half length at that mark that I created for the waist, and then I marked out the length that I wanted. So I just took it to the top. I marked out where it stopped, and then I'm just going to keep marking it to create the curve that I want. So once that is done, I'm just going to cut it out. So this is how wide the flare is. It's wide enough to create pleats around the waist area. So I just marked out the wrong part, and then I've gone ahead to cut out the lining for the front and back also. The best way to sew this is to sew the lining separately and the main fabric separately, just as if you are sewing a suit. Alright, and then I cut out the lining 2 inches smaller than the main cloth, and then a head net that will make it stand a bit. I just cut that one straight 2 inches shorter also. So this was the final look when I finished. I could not film the sewing because of time. It was an urgent work. I hope you understand the pattern drafting and you get it when you are able to do yours. Thanks for watching. Till I see you in my next one.